fellow Movie Crusaders, and welcome to our latest episode. My name's Sean Wasserkrug, and today we're reviewing the latest film from the Broken Lizards crew, Quasi. Quasi is on Hulu, and it follows the story of a hapless hunchback who yearns for love, but finds himself in the middle of a murderous feud between the Pope and the King of France when they each order the hunchback to kill the other. For anyone who knows this group, this is Broken Lizard. They're the same guys that did Super Troopers 1 and 2, Club Dread, which I'm a fan of, Beer Fest, the Slam & Salmon, Tacoma FD on True TV. I enjoy these guys. I love watching these guys work together. They're all funny, and when their comedy gels well, it's an enjoyable, fun time. So when I heard they were making a Quasimodo kind of film, I was generally excited. I would have liked to have seen them do a different kind of setting or a different kind of film, but I wasn't going to basically ignore or scoff at them for trying to do this kind of role. I saw the trailer for it, and the trailer didn't really wow me by any chance, but I still will give the Broken Lizards crew the benefit of the doubt because I love, I love Super Troopers, Tacoma FD, and Club Dread. Everyone from the Broken Lizard crew is back, as well as the new additions from the Tacoma FD crew. They're all in the film as well in small roles, but the main Broken Lizard cast are still the main leads of this film. All of them are playing dual roles. You got Steve Lemmy, Kevin Heffernan, who's actually directing this one, Paul Soter, Eric Stolhensky, and Jay. I'm always gonna say Jay's name wrong. Jay Chanaraskar. I butchered it. I apologize. They're all back, like I said, playing dual roles. Steve Lemmy, though, is taking the lead role this time out as Quasi. At the end of the day, while watching Quasi, I forgot, a new addition, you got Adrian Palicki, who plays Queen Catherine, who's the love interest for basic Quasi in the film. At the end of the day, as much as I love Broken Lizard, this movie wasn't funny. I think I maybe chuckled once through this whole movie, and it was at the very, very end of the film. And for Broken Lizard, that is an epic fail in terms of their quality. And it's not necessarily that the movie is bad. I didn't dislike the film. I thought the film was fine, but I wasn't really enjoying it, and I wasn't really having any fun watching the film. But by no means is it a bad movie. It's a solid, film for what it is, but it is supposed to be a comedy, but I did not really find anything funny in the film. More times than not, I'd be watching it, and they would say something, and I'd be like, in my head, I'd be like, that was a good line, but not enough to make me laugh at it. Had it been like, that's a good line, on top of some physical comedy and on top of another line right there, then you could have generated something of laughs. But Quasi just kind of feels like it falls short, or that maybe they were rushing to kind of shoot this film, because even by set standards, it looks like they, Brian and I both watched this, we were both equally disappointed, but we both said that it looked like it was shot at a Renaissance festival, because this is supposed to be like the King of France, and when he goes to address France, it's literally on a small stage in a courtyard instead of in front of a castle or anything like that. And so it really just feels very small scale. The jokes are not necessarily tiring. They're just not very funny at all. Steve Lemmy, he's my favorite Broken Lizard actor. But he's reserved to having to do this side chat, speaking thing for Quasi, and it just kind of feels painful and annoying for him halfway through the film. Kevin Heffernan is, for the most part, playing what he plays in every role outside of playing, in Super Troopers as Farva. Jay is solid as King Yi, but once again, he's probably got the best lines in the movie, but even still not enough to be funny. Paul Soter, he's solid as the Pope, but his other character is relatively not. And Eric plays the Cardinal, but his real fun character is Marcel, who's a torturee of Quasi and Dugent, played by Heffernan. There are elements here that work, and there are elements here that could be fun, but the problem is that it's just not utilized to its fullest potential, much like they would do in Super Troopers, or even to an extent Club Dread. it just feels like let's get everybody in the movie, let's give everyone parts, but let's forget about trying to make this thing enjoyable or funny. That by the end of the day, you're watching Quasi and it's 20 some, not 120 some, it's an hour 40 some minutes, and I think I did a time check at least 4 times wondering when this movie was going to end, because it does overstay its welcome probably by about a good 15-20 minutes. uh and it's just at the end of the day just kind of comes off as a disappointment for the Broken Lizards crew. I expect more from them, and I think they should expect more for themselves. Like I said, it's not a bad movie, but it's not an enjoyable, fun one either. So for anyone who's a fan of Broken Lizard, obviously you guys are probably going to check this out because you love the Broken Lizard guys. But temper your expectations. It's not going to be even remotely close to any of their top stuff that you've loved and enjoyed over the years. It's just going to be one of those, oh yeah, they did this movie. And then, heaven forbid, in 5 years from now, you probably forget that Quasi was ever made. Kind of like Slam and Salmon, or Salmon, to a point. So yeah, at the end of the day, it's a big disappointment for me, especially with this crew. It'll probably end up on my most disappointed list at the halfway mark, maybe by the end of the year as well. Just a big misfire for me for the Broken Lizard guys. For me, I'm gonna give it a 50%. Like I said, I still enjoy all the cast, but it just lacks any fun or comedy the whole way through. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you guys did, go ahead and hit that like, share, and subscribe on the channel so you guys stay up to date with all the latest videos pop up on the Movie Crusaders. And of course, I'm going to follow us on all the social media outlets you see below. We got reviews for Evil Dead Rise, Apple TV's Ghosted, as well as this week's episode of the Weekly Crusaders and Cinemasochism all up on the channel. So plenty of videos for you guys to watch and check out. And next week we'll have new episodes for the Weekly Crusaders and Cinemasochism. No real reviews coming out next week as there's not really anything big coming out. But in 2 weeks we will have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. One of my most anticipated films of the year. So be on the lookout for that. And until next time, in case I don't see you, go watch some movies and go have some fun.
You're still here. It's over. Go home.